Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Okay, Roy Rogers, Gene Autry, Dale Evans, and Foy Willing? You may not recognize that last name, certainly not at the same level that you recognize the previous names, but it is true that Foy Willing and the writers of The Purple Sage were right up there. In fact, they appeared in a lot of the movies that those guys and gal did. In fact, another little trivia fact, when Les Paul and Mary Ford were divorced in 1963, Les Paul sued his former wife, alleging that she ran off to be with Foy Willing. Okay, there you go. Basically, Foy Willing, writers of Purple Sage, it's an all-American, country and western, more western than country music, along the same lines as Gene Autry and stuff like that. This is that 10-inch record that we snagged from the Goodwill the other day on Varsity Records. Foy Willing, VLP 6032. I did not check the specific date on this record, so you guys can jump in and tell me. But this is going to be like, typical, Western music. I'm excited to hear it. I love it. I love the colors, the purple on this. Truly, truly beautiful. This is a long-playing Royale record. On the back here, we have advertisement for other titles that you could get in this series. Manufactured by Wright Record Corporation, Meriden, Connecticut. This is literally like almost identical to that record we reviewed recently. Another 10-inch record. 33 1/3 RPM, micro groove, and again, some other titles you could get. I'm going to turn the light up a little bit. A little brighter there. So yeah, this ought to be super, super cool. Now, this actual record is, first of all, this whole thing is in rough condition. I mean, I'm going to take some shipping tape, and I'm going to, not this edge, but the top and the bottom, I'm going to seal it up. I haven't cleaned it. I haven't, done any work that I normally do on intake. It's literally been sitting there, so it's just as dirty as the day I bought it. So we're going to dust it and listen to it, and eventually I'm going to get around to having time to clean it. But there you go. So a 10-inch record with the same, somebody mentioned that the label looked like the same size as a 12-inch LP, and it is. This is a full-size label, a pressed label. Although kind of interesting, there's like this inner circle here that if this was a 10-inch 78, that would be the size of a label on a 78. So kind of an interesting observation there. I think this is in, it's a bit scratched up as you can see, but it should be playable. Pretty interesting. I've never heard these guys as far as I can tell, so I'll be curious. We're going to enjoy this one together. We'll just skip through some of the songs. Listen on the LP3 in manual mode. Let's see, side 1 would be a good place to start. And without further ado, let's at least dust this thing off. I think that would be, and also let me tilt it down so you can see what we're actually doing. That would also be helpful probably, right? And scoot it up a bit. Okay. So I am going to just give this a once over lightly with a carbon fiber brush. Definitely needs a deep clean. And I'm just going to drop it right in the middle of each track so that we really get a sample for what the song is. Because if you only have 3 or 4 seconds to listen to a song and you waste it on the very beginning, sometimes you don't even get an idea for the song. Tonight we pray for water. Just like I expected. Very nice. Now I'm using the vocal mic, so if it sounds a little echoey, that's because the microphone's actually faced, opposite these speakers. I'm going to turn up the volume for that, so you can hopefully hear it a little better. Oops, let me pull this back in a little bit. Same song. It would help if I actually went to the next one. That's a good sound. And you know what? The pops and scratches don't bother me one little bit. I think it's awesome. I think it's really, really cool. It's possible these wouldn't, cause a copyright content ID match, but I don't have time to edit tonight, so we're going to hope for a one-take wonder. So, again, I appreciate you guys just being here, making time to spend with me, my favorite part of the day, you and I hanging out and just listening to some records or checking out some cool tech, doing whatever we do, whatever we have time for, right? Life is kind of busy, actually, surprisingly. A friend of mine who I correspond with, try to on a regular basis, I'm perpetually behind in responding to him. And I think to myself, why is this happening? You know what I mean? Why we're on quarantine, and how can this be happening? Somehow, some way, life, has become busy with, stuff. It just has. So making the time to, watch a YouTube that's published every day could be annoying, and I appreciate the dedication. So thank you so very much. All right, let's go ahead and listen to this side. This sounds great. I really can't wait to actually listen to this all the way through. Really neat stuff.
I took my daughter just to see those rippling rills.
This sounds, to me, it sounds quality-wise totally on par with Gene Autry, and I think that, it sounds really good. It's got a warmth to it. It's got a richness, a fullness of sound. I really like it. He lived from, I think, 1912, if I remember right, to 1978. He appeared in, Western festivals and things up until the 1970s, probably until his passing. So, an interesting character. I had never heard of Foy Willing. Did I say Williams earlier? I meant Willing. Foy Willing. All right, one more track here.
Felt like it was weeks since I'd had pork and beans. I said, let's jump in the river. My horse said
It's awesome. It's really cool. So, when you play a record like this, that is not the cleanest record, I recommend a wet stylus cleaner like this. This is the Hudson Hi-Fi Anti-Static Stylus Cleaner. If it looks like a mascara brush to you, then either you have a mascara brush or you know somebody who does. This is just literally a wire. There we go. It's just like a wire center with probably plastic bristles and this anti-static liquid. And it is probably, I know that's making sound. Doesn't hurt anything. Probably the best way to clean your stylus. Having tried other methods, including a dry plastic brush, dry carbon fiber brush, the stylus gel, which I still, use those extensively. Those dry out, and a dry brush is only so effective. But that little wet brush is surprisingly effective. And so, especially on a dirty record like this, does a great job. In fact, I don't know if we can get this on camera or not. Let's see if I can get it to focus. See those little thingies down in there? Those little particulates. Those are the accumulative buildup that I have collected. So anyway, I think it's a great little product. I'll go ahead and put a link down in the description below. I didn't plan on doing that, but since I'm talking about it, if anybody is interested, where you can grab that. But anyway, the record, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage. Now, if you ask Google, hey Google, tell me about the Riders of the Purple Sage. Listen to this. Hey Google. Okay. Hey Google, tell me about the Riders of the Purple Sage.
According to Wikipedia, Riders of the Purple Sage is a Western novel by Zane Grey, first published by Harper and Brothers in 1912. Considered by scholars to have played a significant role in shaping the formula of the popular Western genre, the novel has been called the most popular Western novel of all time.
There you go. So, Zane Grey, Riders of the Purple Sage, Foy Willing, Gene Autry, all of this stuff kind of ties in. And if I remember right, I believe there was a Zane Grey series that was kind of like a Hardy Boys series that was made. I may be wrong on that. Maybe I'm thinking Zane Grey is just an author of Western literature. But anyway, kind of interesting history there, I thought. But all right, guys, have you ever seen this record or have heard of this artist? Or do you like this genre? And if so, what are some of your favorites? Let me know down in the comments below. But that is going to do it for today, guys. Happy record hunting. We will see you tomorrow.